have a lot of empathy for the confusion here between positioning and messaging, even copywriting. I think there's kind of an academic school of thought, which is that those are very distinctive things. You could put them on a spectrum, and positioning is typically the deepest and purest strategy exercise, crystallizing things like our value proposition, our ideal customer profile, our differentiated value. On the totally opposite end of the spectrum, you have copywriting, which is like improving words with the goal of driving action and velocity in the sales process. And messaging is kind of the connective tissue. It's how do you take the strategy pillars and turn them into a framework of language that resonates with our prospects. That perspective makes total sense on paper. In practice, I find it a very difficult distinction. A lot of founders and company leaders struggle with it, and I don't actually know how useful it is. So, a couple of reasons for this. Number one, it's often the case that we get founders coming to us, and they know that something's not working, but it's really difficult to pinpoint what it is. Is it that they fundamentally have a great thesis on the market, they understand their place within it, but they don't have the right words to translate their vision, and that's why they're not seeing a steady flow of leads and high conversion rate? That's a totally plausible hypothesis. Uh, is it the case that maybe the words are fine, but the underlying bets that they're taking on which market segment to go after, what their source of unique value is, isn't right? It's very difficult to know at the outset of a project. And so it's rarely the case that we talk to someone and they know on day one, what does the solution look like? That's one challenge, I think. The other is imagine a world where you were handed a theoretically perfect strategy document, the perfect positioning for your company or your product. How would you know? It's actually very difficult to have an
Right.
intuition about this. Like, typically, the way that you know is by getting feedback from prospects, customers in the market. And in order to do that, what you have to do is translate it into actual words on your website, actual sales collateral. So there's always a layer of intermediation between the raw strategy and how the market interacts with it, which can make it extra difficult to know where you're experiencing challenges in the process and to know what good looks like until you get all of the pieces of the puzzle in place.